All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to WBISLP 106.9. I'm Vernon Garrison, your co-host for today's show. Let's talk real life with Miss Nada Manning. Well, I want to give you a couple of ways that you can follow the show. You can follow us on social media, Awesome Radio, Facebook, Awesome Radio, YouTube. You can also find us on Roku Television, and you can also find us our connection with the GPAT 23 local television, uh, Facebook, and YouTube. So thank you for joining us here today. We really appreciate it. Uh, we'd like for you to like the show, to subscribe to the channel so that you can see us when we're on. No doubt we have some great shows here at WBIS LP Awesome Radio, 106 on your radio dial. And everyone has some wholesome, great information that we want to provide to you. No doubt. So, without further delay, I would like to introduce to you the host of Let's Talk Real Life with Ms. Nada Manning. Ladies and gentlemen, my teacher, Miss Nada Manning. How are you?
Hi, hello. I am doing well. I hope everyone else is doing just as well or better. We are back, folks, to continue with our topic from last week. What's love got to do with it? It's a whole list of reasons, cliches, comments of why, how, when love got to do with it. So we want to expound on some of these things as we continue on from last week. Coach Garrison is going to say some things that he has indicated that he wants me to talk more now. All of a sudden, you know, I thought he was
Excuse
going to
me.
take. I'm sorry.
I just said, excuse me. I was just getting my
Oh,
engine revved up in here, rocking because I'm ready to roll. I'm
okay.
rolling because we
Uh,
get ready to rock this.
okay. He's going to rock it. So that means I'm just going to be answering questions again. So that's fine. All right,
Coming
sir.
straight at you.
I'm sorry.
I said, coming straight at you.
All right. We good.
All right. In the last show, you guys saw me squirming in my seat. I was ready and ripping and raring to go as Ms. Dataman had just responded to which behaviors are off limits during an argument. And she talked about tone or volume of voice. And she basically said, no, she can't do that. She's basically saying she'll shut down and she'll probably respond again and even confirm in case you missed the show how she felt about that question. Which behaviors are off limits during an argument? I'd love for you to get in there and type in what you think uh, your standard is for behaviors that are off limits. You can't do that. No, 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 no. You don't do that. You know. So I want to share with you mine.
Can I add two more things?
I think you can. We can do this about 20 shows. So I'm okay with that. Yes, ma'am.
I know you ran and ready to go, and your gut about ready to bust wide open because you got some stuff that's got to come out.
Yeah.
Um, the other two things I failed. I think I did say yelling, yelling. Well, anyway,
Yeah.
the loud, boisterous, so that everybody. And then the other one was vulgar language, off limits,
You know, dude, I know what vulgar means.
off
What's
limits,
vulgar language?
off limits words, choice words, those profanity words, those cuss words. How
You
about
don't
that?
want to. You don't want nobody cussing you out or
Right.
using the words. Which one? Cussing
I,
you out or using the words?
I don't want neither because I don't use it, so I don't expect anyone else to do that either. You can argue with me without using choice words.
Yeah, because some people use choice words, if you will, during it, but they're not, you know,
Right,
cursing at swearing
right,
you in it, but some people
right,
do. Now,
right.
I don't use them. I have. Okay, I have to say that I have. It just don't work too well for me. I can say other stuff that's worse than saying a curse word that you don't
Right.
say.
I mean, there's more than one way to put your point across without using the choice language.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's those are my other two things: the yelling and the screaming, and those words that just don't set well. That to me, I don't do that, and I would expect my argument to go across to them just as effective as if they were coming at me with those words and all the screaming and the yelling. Because if that's the case, then I will shut down because I'm gonna say, you know what? Not today, not tomorrow either.
Oh wow, gave it another day.
Not for
Okay.
those words. No, that's
I
not necessary.
I wanted to say that, I was talking about when you're having an argument, voice and volume can come naturally. And just right now with these headphones on, I can hear you, but I can't tell how loud my voice is. So they might be listening to me at the grocery store down the street. That's something that I constantly work on. And sometimes when I'm talking to people, they'll be like, "Can you use your inside voice? Can you? Do you even know how to whisper?" So how in the flying flip side of floppy pancakes can I keep that under control during a passionate discussion? It's just almost impossible.
Practice.
I know practice works, and just now my excitement is not my excitement about this subject is leading the tone of my voice and the fact that I got these phones on and I can't tell how high my volume is, but without a meter. But if we're having a subject that we are discussing, this voice right here, whatever number you think it's on, 7, 8, 6, you might think that, oh, don't use that voice. You're yelling at me. You're heightened. You're and so I think I'm gonna just say this. Everybody knows when somebody's yelling at you. Okay. So we got that point. That's well taken. Don't yell at me like that. Now, if I offend you and you lose your temper and I lose my temper, then we both lost our temper. And that's not we all know we shouldn't. We should fight against that. That's not that happens.
Right.
Okay, that does happen, and you do your best. Now, the part that is I want to emphasize on is number one, the mean words, the mean spirit that you speak into somebody's soul when you say you're a fool, you're an idiot, you're dumb, you should never have done that. Those words are equivalent to you should have never been born. The world would be a better place without you. I wish you'd go somewhere and die. Or when you call people names, sometimes the way that you call them stupid is if you're the greatest gift that God put on this earth, and you're talking so far down to them that it's on the level of you just might not come back the way people mentally abuse you sometimes. You just might not come back from it. You might forgive them. You might, okay, you about to say something?
I was going to ask, are you talking from experience, coach?
Yes, I'm talking from experience. So you might not be in a position to forgive them because and I'm a coach and I know about raising my voice at children, at a team, or having a locker room conversation. You earn that, you buy that when you play on a team. But what happens is a coach should never inject any of his emotions or any of his feelings or his evaluations deep down in your soul without permission. You see, if they see you in that position, it's almost like a father, a mother. It's almost like you have a rite of passage to raise your voice at me, to reprimand me because we're outside. It's an environmental thing. It's all of these things. It's not at the dinner table. You don't go loud talking to somebody at the dinner table. You're not at home. Even if you do have a socially acceptable tone between you and your relationship, you can't carry that everywhere. So, but a coach that's coaching uh, has a position to where he can look at a player and say, "Man, y'all playing sorry out there today, and you need to get your act together." And it's going to motivate the child. So my point is, with fewest words that I can use, that person that's in a conflict with you knows that they're cussing deep down in your spirit, and they aim to hurt you. They aim to shut you down. There is a difference between raising your voice and using those tones and just losing your temper and saying things out of anger. There's no excuse. You can't say you're excused. You just got to find the reasoning behind it to get past it. So I'd say that's off limits. The cursing, the swearing, though unless both of y'all swear, y'all do it all the time. I might not understand it if I hear you call your wife the B word. Or if I might not understand it if I hear it from the outside looking in, but y'all might do it all the time. I'm just saying, it's
Mm.
not the way I roll. And if I don't do it to you, now I'm gonna say this like I'm arguing. I don't care what your father did to you. I'm not your father. I might remind you of your father, but I'm not. But he might have done some things to you that just throw you off. That doesn't mean I'm trying to be your father. That doesn't mean that I'm trying to control you like somebody did in your life. I just might lose my way in a debate or an argument, and I need to be brought back. But I should not and will not raise my voice intentionally to hurt you or to harm you to the point that you questioning your very existence in my life. That's just not fair. And you probably should shut it down and go your separate ways for a minute. The next thing is that if behavior that should be uh, off limits. Oh, God, I'm gonna hurt myself on this one. Isolation. You can isolate somebody or you can isolate yourself. It could be a time away that you can repent. It could be a time away where you really can't talk. You really don't have the words. Or it could be mean spirited and you can actually be punishing the other person by ignoring them, by putting them in a cage like they're some kind of pet. And you're not going to talk to them until you see fit. Even if they say they're sorry, you put them in a cage. You put them in a position that they can't see you unless they set an appointment. Though that's the only the couple I'll give you, and that one is withholding sex from your partner or love making, to the highest degree, which is permitted in a relationship, marriage. So if you're using those things as weapons, um, they should be off limits. If you're using them as teaching points, well, I'm gonna show them. And but I think that isolation is something that I am guilty for because I want to be by myself so much during an argument sometimes. I just want to be on the island. I just want to be gone. And I will leave mentally. And no, I don't go plan to blow up buildings. No, I'm not going to burn your house down. But isolation is a very, very mean spirited thing that you could do to somebody that should be off limits. But sometimes you screaming at each other, you got to stop somehow. Okay, go ahead.
Um, I would think that a lot of that separation or isolation depends on the individual, and it depends on the type of argument that's being held. A heated argument that's getting out of control, yeah, somebody need to walk away and let things simmer down a little bit. But if it's a one that's not so serious, I'm thinking that walking away from that will do more harm than good. And I say that because it's not to the point, it has not escalated as high as some arguments can get. So what I'm saying is if there is still some control in that disagreement between the two people, then walking away might be the worst thing to do. You might want to leave it alone for a minute until you give some more food for thought into it. So I guess what I'm saying is off limits for some arguments. I agree with some of the things you said, but like I said, also it depends on the argument. Some arguments, truthfully speaking, some arguments are not even worth having. If you think about it, some arguments is just to the point where you know what? Why are we arguing about this? Why are we going to argue about who will take the kids to school? I mean, I took the kids yesterday. Okay, and you might have to take it, something that is important because the child needs to get to school. But why are you going to fall out about it? Why you got to isolate yourself because I'm getting tired of taking it? Every time I turn around, I'm doing this. No, that is the wrong approach. So I say that isolation depends on the magnitude of the disagreement.
And the magnitude, this is so fun right now because it's fun to look at this analysis when you're not arguing because you're always late. Because you always you get up late or you do something or the way you do something. And I can accuse the ghost right now. I love it. The way you're doing something is just really getting on the other person's nerves. The way I do something is just killing you. It's just getting on your nerves. And especially if you do things at the last moment and the other person is thinking, well, if you were going to do that, you should have got up an hour earlier or 30 minutes earlier. Now you want everybody to be in the mindset that we got to rush because you're the one that's late. Well, I had somebody get mad at me one time for waking them up.
All
See,
of this
my schedule is different than your schedule. And when I figure your schedule is not adequate to take care of the things that you need to do, I'm like, I know they're gonna need to do this, so they just need to go and get up. Man, you try to take a position like that of authority and say, no, you need to get up because you know you got to do A, B, C, D, E. That ain't good nowadays. To help somebody without consent. All right, what were you about to say?
you're asking for an argument in that case. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but then the person is so easy to forget why you're arguing. That's my response to you saying some things aren't worth arguing about. Well, some subjects come up because in disguise. They're disguising themselves as the point that you're dealing with, but it's really something else. It's really that other person just don't like your behavior, and that's a result of it. And they're trying to get to it through that avenue, and it doesn't make sense to try to do that early in the morning when the kids got to go to school. That's the wrong time, the wrong place. About coffee or about paying, giving the kids money or being on time. That stuff should be talked about in another scenario.
And saying all that to say, as we stick to the topic, folks, what love got to do with it? What does love have to do with all of these little scenarios that we are talking about here? If it escalates to the point and goes on and on and on, and not necessarily, when I say escalate, not necessarily becoming a full blown argument, but it's repetitive. Every 2 or 3 days, the person is late or whatever it is, or no school money or whatever it is. What's love got to do with it? And the point of getting up late, you really need to do 1, 2, 3, and what's love got to do with that? Well, I'm thinking on a mature level. I haven't always been at this level, folks. So we don't want to, let's not get that twisted, because I was once in my 20s, believe it or not. And there were things that I handled then that I don't handle the same now. But what's love got to do with it? That love can diminish if those little petty things, and I call them petty, because that waking up bit and getting it, all that can be discussed and prepared the night before. If the couple is matured to the point of trying to avoid arguing, trying to avoid disagreeing as much as possible, and I say that very vividly, as much as possible, to do thus and so a different way. Now, what's love got to do with that? It can ruin the love ship. Maybe not ruin it in a sense, but it can make it can damage it. I put it that way. Because how can you continue to love someone if you're continuing to argue about the same old stuff all the time? Eventually, it gets old, and there's some discussion to try to eliminate that argument if any way possible. What's love got to do with it? Because you're trying to make the relationship as comfortable and loving as possible, and that's not necessarily with two grown folks. It can be a parent-child thing. How many times that the children can say out loud, "My mom and dad are arguing again"? It don't make the child feel good. But anyway, we're not going to continue with that. Next question, go ahead.
She said next question. All right. Let's see here. Oh my goodness. What counts as cheating? What counts as cheating? What counts as cheating? Who going first? Let's just do a raw list. A raw list.
Cheating.
Yeah, what is cheating?
Cheating. What's okay? Avoiding is cheating. Avoiding.
What?
Avoiding. Avoiding. Avoiding.
Avoiding somebody?
Avoiding an issue. Avoiding okay, let's see. When you're asked or confronted about a thing.
Deflection.
And you are avoiding, avoiding, avoiding the answer to the question. Why are you avoiding it? That gives the other person a sense of some cheating going on, because why won't you answer the question? Like a good marriage question. What took you so long to come home? Or where were you? Where were you? Or I called your office at noontime, which was lunchtime, and you didn't pick up. I thought we were going to talk. All of those questions like that leaves room for suspect. And once you become suspicious of those avoiding issues, that person gets in their mind and their spirit that there's something cheating going on, because you're not telling the truth. You're not being honest. You're not being upfront. You are avoiding, or you don't show up for an appointment or a date. Well, what happened? So that's why I say avoiding. Avoiding the obvious. If you can't give a flat out straight answer, you might can give an answer, but it might not be accepted. It depends on what the answer is. So again, it leaves suspect. That person's mind. Okay, somebody is not being honest. And when you're not being honest, what is that? That's cheating to me.
I was hoping you were going to put that. I hope you were going to solidify that or reiterate the comment, and you did. I have never heard that in my entire life. I have to process that. because you know, if you're dealing with an issue like that, let's say dealing with suspicion like that of your significant other who is curious and investigating, okay, not just wondering or whatever. But if you, during that interrogation that you're going through, that you're telling me, if you do not answer the question directly, then you are guilty of cheating.
And cheating. Now cheating is a broad word now. Cheating
Yeah,
does not
yeah.
huh?
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Cheating does not necessarily mean that you have been with someone else. Cheating can be that you were doing something that you don't want the other person to know about. So
Oh,
you're cheating in your behavior in more than one way.
oh my
Cheating,
God, that is
cheating,
crazy.
huh?
I said, that's interesting. Keep talking. I'm
Cheating can
sorry.
be cheating can be a sense of lying, yes, because you're not telling the truth, you're not sharing the full information, you're only giving part of it. Well, I went to the store and okay, I thought I would buy such and such and such, when really you bought something else along with that such and such and such. Does that mean that you have to always tell the full story about things that you're doing? If you have the partner that is of the personality that is doing the same for you, then it would be in your best interest as a couple to do the same for each other. It should not be a one-way street. If that person is sharing with you that they did this and that and the other, and after a while, when you start doing this and that and the other, and the other person is saying, well, you know what? How come I'm always telling you so and such and such and such? That's an imbalance right there. That's like, you know, we supposed to be equal in our sharing and our discussions to avoid any suspicion of being cheated, cheated out of information, cheated out of money, cheated out of where you were. There's different ways of cheating. So the question is, what counts as cheating to you? And I say avoiding what's obvious.
That is probably the most amazing response I've ever heard to, or description of cheating that I have ever heard go through my ear gate.
Because if you don't say it that way, see, the whole way of saying it, in my opinion, is to avoid an argument. We as adults, and we should teach our children the same thing. Any way possible, avoid having an argument. Any way possible, so that the relationship can go smoother than if it was when you're caught in a lie, you're caught cheating on a test, all that, or didn't
That's
take the
that.
test.
Say again.
You didn't take the test at all. I'm talking about students now, or grown-ups that take tests, a medical exam, or whatever it might be. You're not being honest, so you're cheating.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it right here on Let's Talk Real Life with Miss Dana Manning. I cannot describe to you that you, if that's the principle that you have, and then that's the theme that you approach it. Let me find a positive word. I guess I use principle, a theme, or if your point is to prevent any negative behavior from happening, then just the mere discussion about, or how you discuss it, whether you're forthcoming about things that we're doing, even if you bought ice cream, even and you were supposed to go to the mailbox, go to the post office, and you snuck off and went to Dairy Queen and bought ice cream. That just describes the cheating right there. The fact that you omitted, it's called a sin of omission. The fact that you omitted the ice cream can cause you to self reflect. Now that I know you believe that cheating in concept will lead to manifestation of cheating in reality. It can manifest. Wow, that's now you can see how the Bible says the lust of the flesh is sin. Just thinking about something, lusting about that. I've been lusting over that car, that truck, that van that I wanted. Well, I was driving by that car dealership every day, looking at that vehicle out there. I I I really wanted that thing, and I was about to do anything that's possible to get it. But God found another way to show me that it ain't quite time yet. So I settled down from that lust because my flesh was high on that black too, room enough for me to stretch out. I could drive up like the alpha that I am. I would drive up, you can hear that bone stereo sound in there.
Okay,
I
folks.
couldn't wait. Say what now?
I was telling the people, okay, folks, you have to ignore him right now. He's in his moment.
I got right in that truck. I got in that van right now. I was sitting in the chair. And I'm driving. But like, here comes Coach.
And
Coming
what's love?
down.
And what's love got to do with that?
Okay, so I was talking about lust, and I was lusting after that truck.
Oh,
But your communication, that was extraordinary. I'm gonna be on that for quite some time. Um, when it comes to cheating, here's what I think. Your first is I think that cheating is actually when you do it. That's kind of how we got to judge it because all of us have things that go through our minds, things that we want in life, toys we want, trucks, cars, money. We see certain things that are not reality for us, and we want those things. So that's a motive right there. And it could be inordinate, it could be off track. So in this judicial word called what counts as cheating, I got to take it to the courtroom. You can't convict me unless I've done something real on the cheating part. Now, I'm not saying your words or and on your level. Now let's get down to the most common conversation about cheating, especially if you're talking about adultery or fornication. Saying to a woman, "Yo, you look good. You ain't laying down with her." But the cheating part is one, the lust of the flesh. Two, if it's not just a genuine comment, then it is cheating on your spouse because you're still in affection from your spouse or girlfriend. So I can go ahead and say that's cheating. Um, but I say cheating. Go ahead.
you talking about it's cheating when you come to the point of lusting or wanting to be with someone other than your significant other.
Yeah, I was talking about that kind of cheating.
The obvious cheating.
Yeah, the
You're
obvious
saying,
one.
you're saying cheating in your mind and in your spirit, even though you haven't done anything. The
Yeah,
desire to be with that other individual is cheating.
the desire don't mean that you are cheating though. It could
I
be just a
know,
fleeting thought.
but
Yeah,
it's but what you're saying is cheating because you're thinking about it. Is that what you're saying?
yeah. I'm thinking that that's not cheating to the point where
Oh,
it's yeah. I'm thinking that's not cheating because you battle in your mind every day for your
okay,
mental safety, your
right,
spiritual safety, to stay, as the Bible say, above reproach.
right,
So just because I'm confronted by and I'm not trying to say sexual sin is on my plate right now and I'm gonna stick to it. But just because a woman come talk to me and smile in my face, that don't mean that I didn't cheat, that I cheated with her. That doesn't mean I'm going to. I can
right,
tell you that right now. You
right,
can hang it up. Just because you see me walking through a certain place, just because you see me talking to somebody, acceptance of somebody in an issue, like I'm accept. you as a crackhead. I know you smoke crack. You ain't told everybody yet that you're a crackhead. But and I ain't picking on crackheads because I'm caught. But if you have a drug problem, me with being with you does not mean I endorse your behavior because
Right.
I accept you. So
Right.
there's a lot of avenues as I get serious. See what tone of my voice change. There's a lot of avenues that you shouldn't play with. And so if somebody is working in an environment at work, they work with a lot of ladies or they work with a lot of temptation, they work with cash. There's temptation to steal.
Right.
Okay, they work at a bank, where they work in a situation where people are coming at them all the time. They work into a difficult environment. So to me, the folks that work stealing all of your love, all of they making you so upset at work, or you are upset at work. When you come home, you ain't got no love for your family. You want to go in the house, go in the room and shut the door. I remember I needed at least 30 minutes to an hour by myself when I came home. I did not know until years later I was robbing my family of some of that. Daddy's home.
Right.
And so that's cheating. But it was because of work. It was because
Right.
I was drained. I was physically tired. And I just wanted a little time for myself. But as a family man, if these folks are waiting for you to come home, you get your time later or you ask permission. Don't go in there and go in the house doing the James Evans thing, come throw your coat on the chair and everybody needs something from you and you walking in the room and get ready to go outside and play with your toys, your lawnmower, your motorcycle, whatever, and think that it's the right thing to do. So that's what I'm saying. The
You
actual
you
manifestation of the action has got to be where cheating is identified and dealt with. And if you can catch it early, like you're talking about, I can agree with you. I just don't want men walking around looking at their uh, wife or girlfriend. I know you get ready to do something. What you got that on for? What you looking like that for? Go take that off. Or that can lead to some suspicion that's not reasonable. And like the police, there's no reason to stop you. If they don't have a reason to stop you, you can't stop somebody just because they look like they're guilty.
right.
So I don't want these people to think. So in other words, you do have to you got time. If they're cheating, you're going to see it. It's going to happen right in front of you. But if it has not, which is a tough place, I think what counts as cheating, if you go with Miss Native's perception, when you meet once a week, and I think everybody should meet once a week and have a formal meeting to yourself, just like you're married. If y'all love each other so blissfully right now, then meet once a week and pretend that it's in jeopardy. What is your thoughts? Am I doing something that's worrying you? I think that if I ever got into another relationship like that was that serious, I would be meeting once a week like my life depended on it because I know what it's like to be out here without a soulmate, without a wife, and without somebody that is down for you, whatever you do, whether it's wrong or right, they are down with you. And anyways, I'm getting off to myself, but I'd say you should meet every week and talk some serious stuff. Am I doing something that's worrying you? How you treat the kids? Are we disciplining them fairly? Are we treating them too nice? Are we showing them how to work? Are we preparing them for the future? Am I preparing you for the future? Are you preparing me for the future? You might not be here every day. We could get divorced. What could we do to think a seed planted
Right.
between us that 10 years from now, that seed might grow up and become a tree. And you're going to wish you had got that junk out way back. So if you
Right.
think somebody cheating, treat it like your life and your love depends on it.
Right. Well, all right. Folks, I guess we got that message. Sound like that came out loud and clear. I don't think we missed a beat on that one. Well, all righty then.
All right.
I
Well,
hope I hope everybody got the point. I really do. There were two different ways of looking at it, your perspective and my perspective, and that's what makes it all good, folks. So that you can think about whatever situation that you're in, whatever predicament you're in, whatever love boat you're on, that it will sail smoothly if you just communicate. Find that medium ground that you and that other person, whether it's your parents or your children or your spouse or your friend or whomever, find that medium so that you all can make the relationship uh, excel. Communication is key. Cheating is not the answer. Try to avoid it as much as possible because it's suspect. And as you heard, there's different ways of cheating. So, anyway, back to you, Coach.
all right. Number 12. The 1, 2. That looks like 21 to y'all out there doing it. However, I don't know. All right. What aspects of your relationship do you expect your partner to keep private? Whew, this was pretty deep too.
And my response to that is you said between who?
What
Not sharing?
aspects? Yep, keep it private. You don't tell nobody. Do you expect your partner, somebody else, to keep private? Now you might tell it, but that's a different perspective. What aspect of your relationship should nobody know about but you and your man? In the daytime, we're talking about you, your man, or you or your woman. I'm just telling you like it is. I didn't say it was right, but that's what it is. Okay.
Well, it would be me and my man. Ain't no me and my
So,
woman.
so
Yeah.
like Bernie Mac. That's what it is now. That's what it is. I'm gonna tell you the truth.
What I would
Uh,
expect to keep just between me and my man. Um, Actually, whatever we talk about, unless he gives me permission to share it, I will keep it. If that makes any sense. Um, no matter how simple it is, no matter how minute it might be, the idea of him trusting me enough to share it with me. I guess I'm answering this right. I don't know. Um, he would learn that I can be a refrigerator. I can be a freezer, and it'll keep a long time until
that
until it's
is
thawed
funny.
and until it's thawed out. Um,
Uh,
I choose not to share anything that he would share with me unless he gives me permission to share it.
well,
Does,
about that's so like I know that there are women that are like what you just said. Um, I saw I'm side journey. I
did
saw a
I
thing.
answer
We
the
got two
question? Did
minutes.
I answer the
Yes,
question?
you did.
Oh,
You,
okay. I
you
didn't
you
know if I
answered the question, and you should have permission. Let me respond first and play this. You should have permission to share what you're going to share, and you should have the wisdom, whether you got permission or not, to divulge your business out in public. The answer was brilliant. I love it. The part that's getting permission, the way you said it, is like you got so much respect for your husband. I was about to play with that. Or your man, you got so much respect that you're going to say, "Can I talk about this?" Or do you want me to talk about this? Or can I talk about this or not? And that's sort of a submissive statement. And I don't know too many alpha women out here that's trying to ask their husbands for permission to talk about anything. Now, it might make sense not to talk about it. It might be their golden rule, but to verbalize it like you did, I think it's cute. I think it's fabulous for somebody to hear that it was not saying that that man's going to control your lips and what
right.
you say. It
It's
was
respect.
respecting the marriage. It was respecting the relationship. It didn't even know. See, some people don't know
That's
how to
exactly right.
deliver.
That's exactly right.
Going to a good restaurant ain't about whether the food is always good or not. It's how the food is plated. It's how it's presented. It's everything. You know, you might pay $10 for a hot dog, but if it's at a prestigious place, you know, you just pay $10 for a hot dog, and it is fitting.
Right.
So I'd say I love your answer. I have
Yeah.
no follow up on that. I'm gonna let stand because you on the roll. All right. The next question, unless you have anything else.
No, I'm good.
Okay. The next question is: are there any boundaries that you want to discuss with your partner?
I say all of them.
Good God. All of
I, I,
what?
I I
Give an
think that
example.
I think that when there's a partnership between two people, I think all of those boundaries should be out in the open. And if you can't get them all out at one time, okay, that's fine. But eventually, the two should be able to uh, work around boundaries coming out piecemeal, if you will. You might not be able to come out. Maybe it might be some certain thing that will happen to cause that boundary to show itself, and then you can talk about it. Again, like I've always said, it's critically important for that communication to always be on the top of the table between both people, both parties. So I would say all of them.
I remember me and my wife one time we had talked about some stuff we was having an issue, and we went to the beach and got us a room, planned that thing out. I think I had 2 pages of things that I had wrote down, 2 whole pages. And boy, it was supposed to be a nice weekend, and we were gonna sit down, we were working out our issues, or things that we had, and she had her stuff that she wanted to talk to me about. And I had something on my list that I said, and I said it. I reckon I said it the wrong way. I know I said it the wrong way. I'm not gonna try to get out of it now. I messed up the whole weekend. I messed up. I messed up. I messed up everything by the way I said it or whatever I said. So I'm saying, guys, if you got boundaries, I know this show ain't all about me, so I'm gonna get to the point. If you have boundaries that they go to a boundaries class. That's where I first went to. I first learned about boundaries at church. They had a class called Setting Boundaries. In the first 5 minutes, I'm like, what am I doing in here? What the world setting boundaries got me do? I'd rather be on stage playing drums, and I wasn't scared to play music that Sunday, so I'm going to go to this class. It's the best class I ever went to. So go to a boundaries class. It'll save your life. Okay? You got Jesus, you got life jackets, and you got boundaries. Those 3 things can save your life, I'm telling you. But back to my point. If you do have a list, I say just leave out all of those things out of the list and just put 1 or 2 things up there. And don't do like, look, I got to talk to you about something. No, you got to do it in a boundaries format where you both share back and forth. I don't know if I like it the way you do this anymore. We used to, but now when you drink a beer, you don't just drink, you drink 10 of them. And I don't even want you drinking to start with. Let's take a higher calling in life. And so, but your life has changed since you met each other. She don't like you burping and pooping and all that stuff all over everywhere now because you done got too comfortable. So you have to, you snore so loud now, and I'm making this good for radio and TV. If you snore so loud now, you probably do got sleep apnea. Go to the doctor and get a sleep study. You sitting there snoring, and you stop breathing 30 seconds. Okay, back to the boundaries. She got to be able to talk to you and tell you you going to the doctor, and she's not accepting your weight anymore. And all of this is in love. So whatever boundaries y'all have, or new ones you want to set now, because the kids are gone, you can walk around like you want to around the house. That don't mean you need to do that all the time. So he needs to be able to say, honey, I still love you, look good, but doggone every time I come home, you looking like a slave that just got caught. You looking like you, he gotta be able to say, honey, I you need to put something on. Don't come around looking like a rag doll all the time when I come home. So
Is that a boundary?
whatever. Yeah, huh?
That that's a boundary.
I would say that's a boundary that she's going to at least a couple of times a week be in a certain way when you come home when she is glad to see you. And if your spouse is not glad to see you when you walk in that door, whether you've been married 5 years or 50, you got a problem. And I
Yeah.
think you need to get help. If y'all accept that and you don't say I love you when you walk in the house anymore like you used to, then that's a problem. So I'm over exaggerating, but your boundaries have gone. You gotta
Okay.
let people know you accept, expect, or want a certain thing and want to be treated a certain way during a situation. That's setting the boundary.
Okay. Now, speaking
Woo!
on that level, um,
Yeah.
like you said, whether it's been 5 years or 50 years or 6 months or 6 years or 6 days or whatever, the way you were as a couple, the way they are when they first met, you're saying be that way continuously. Okay, if you do that,
No, it might change. It's a new day.
okay, okay.
Yeah, you gotta let me know what's new now. It's gotta be updated.
What if the one of the other partner decides that they don't want to show that affection anymore?
Well, if it's commonplace, okay, public affection. I was never good at that because I act like I ain't shy, but I am. I'm not gonna be standing around kissing you and this and all that, holding hands. If you haven't held hands in 20 years and she wants to say, will you hold my hand? I really like for you to hold my hand and I feel more comfortable because my vision is different now than it used to be. It could be for any reason. And I'm not necessarily that's a boundary, but more of a behavior. Um, it might be a boundary if you don't hold her hand now, or if you don't automatically drive because you don't want to drive all the time anymore. She's setting you up for something different.
Okay. We are running out of time, folks, and unfortunately, we want to shut it down for this segment. And looks like, as I suspected, we are going to go into part three. We are going to
Ah,
go into part three to continue
boom.
with this on relationships and what love have to do with it. Valuable information. So please continue to tune in with us as we close our session for today. This is your host, Nada Manning, and Coach Garrison as the co-host. We are working and talking to share some real life issues with you. So at this time, we want to pray and say, thank the Lord for this part two of this segment, Lord. If you bless us, we'll have part three coming up. And we just pray, Lord, that you would touch the hearts and minds continuously and lead their hearts to want to write in and talk to us about it. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you, Lord. Y'all be blessed. Until next time.
Till next time, we got 2 minutes.
Till next time, we got 2 minutes. Well, I want to make sure
Yeah,
I got that prayer in there because that's important. Talking
you
about
know what?
boundaries. We got to get the prayer in there because that's what makes it work. That's what makes it flow.
I
Amen.
haven't seen a dad, or I haven't seen anybody encourage fathers to pray. Now, listen to me, I haven't seen anybody. That's a broad word. It's not apparent that we're expecting fathers to pray with their children, especially daughters, so they can see a positive image of a man that's covering them spiritually, and not just waiting. So, well, you gotta leave your family now and cleave unto your husband. I don't like him. I don't like him, but he so yeah. Speaking of prayer, gentlemen, pray with your children.
Yes. Amen.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. And it don't have to be an immaculate prestigious big words prayer. Plain and simple.
Why not? Come on, man. Father, we come to you as humbly as we know how.
No.
No.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Amen.
well,
Well,
we're going to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, WBISLP 106.9. We're going to be talking about love, what love got to do with it on our next show. So join us. Wednesday is the night that you want to be here. WBISLP 106.9 FM. Have a good rest of your day.